Hey everybody, Chaz Molder, Mayor of the City of Columbia, coming to you today with our next installment of Virtual Town Hall series. This is actually Virtual Town Hall number 13. So over the last several weeks, as you know, we've been bringing information to you as a way for us to be transparent and for us to show continuity of government, and also just to provide information about what's going on in the community, particularly as we were in the peak of the COVID-19 shutdown. But we've also made a determination that going forward, these virtual town halls are a part of a best practice that while it developed during COVID-19 and we continue to find our way outside of that pandemic day by day, that this is something to continue so that we can show what's happening in the community and you can continue to be informed. And today I'm very excited that we have the director of the Maury County Chamber of Commerce, Kayra Williams. Kayra, as mentioned, is the director of the Chamber of Commerce, which is part of the overall Maury County Chamber and Economic Alliance. That's a little bit of a tongue twister. I hope I'm right on that. If not, Kayra, you can correct me. But Kayra, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Chaz. It's an honor to be with you and an honor to talk about what's going on in Maury County and with the Chamber of Commerce.
All right. Well, good deal. Well, so I want to talk specifically Chamber of Commerce with you, Kayra. Recognizing that you know all things chamber, but as I mentioned at the top, the organization is the Maury County Chamber and Economic Alliance. And so, for those who are watching at home that might not be familiar with the organization as a whole, what would you say if you were given a speech about the alliance? What your organization does?
We know I do this with new members about once a quarter, and we sit down and I think for some people who've never been engaged with the Chamber of Commerce or don't really know what they do. We all generally have the same purpose, and that is to promote business growth and to promote job growth. Is pretty simple. I like to think of the Chamber of Commerce as your place to collaborate and your place to connect and your place to find opportunities for professional development and personal development, as well as growing your business, whether it be through more customers or through marketing or just through connecting to other resources in the community. But we also do that other side of the coin, which is recruiting new jobs. So recruiting those new businesses to come into Maury County rather than to going, up the road or down the road. So it's all about just the economic vitality of our entire business community through growing current businesses as well as recruiting new jobs and new businesses.
Well, that's a great way to put the organization. Of course, we know Will Evans is the president of the organization, and there's a director of the economic development piece, and then you serve as the director of the Chamber of Commerce piece, and do such a good job and just know this chamber and this community like the back of your hand, and have been doing it so well for some time now. So let's now dig in a little bit deeper on the Chamber of Commerce specifically. There's a lot y'all do. From reaching out to try to recruit new members, to try to promote, as you mentioned, current members, and just the business community as a whole. But if somebody out there is wondering, if a business is out there that's not already a member, why should I join? What would you tell them, Kayra?
I think probably for a new business, whether you're established for some time or whether you're brand new to the community, I think that Maury County is a place where people still like to do business face to face. We also like to do business with people that we know, like, and trust. And I think one of the best ways for your community to know you and to like you and to trust you is to be a member of your local Chamber of Commerce. We are a very active chamber. We get together under normal circumstances. We get together quite often. So there are just numerous opportunities for you to connect with other business people, to educate them on what your business does, because every small business in the country, probably in the world, does something that somebody doesn't know you do. So the opportunity to get out there and connect with other business people, to market and to educate people about your business, not only makes them like you and trust you, but that in turn makes them want to be a customer or a patron of your business. And if you have a business that doesn't have walk-in traffic, so you're not a retailer, it gives you opportunity to stay connected with, advocacy, just general community business advocacy. We're constantly advocating for a good business environment for the entire county and for all types of businesses, whether it's small or whether it's large. So, I always encourage people, if you've never been involved with the Chamber of Commerce, whether it's here or anywhere, go visit and see what it has to offer, because they all have a little bit of different feel to them. But I think that you would find, number one, you're going to have a good time and you're going to meet some wonderful people and you're going to find some resources and some connections and partnerships out there that you wouldn't have had otherwise.
Well, of course, one of the many unfortunate circumstances regarding COVID was that it really sort of put a halt to the momentum that we were experiencing in Maury County and in Columbia, and the chamber was a large part of that. I mean, we had just had a successful, when I say we, I'm talking about the Maury Alliance.
Yeah.
We just had a successful annual meeting, annual dinner, which is always a sold out crowd and 400 plus people there. We're having monthly coffees where we're having, I don't know, hundreds of people attend, after hour type of events, business roundtables and luncheons, and really just reaching out to all spectrums of the community. And I know a lot of those have stopped for the time being, but certainly, even here, just sitting here talking, I mean, we just spit out about 4 or 5 things that were going on that presumably will be back sooner rather than later, that provides opportunity for networking and connection that you might really not have a chance to get otherwise.
Yes. And we're still doing those things. We're just doing them virtually. We have started ribbon cuttings again. So we're doing those in person. And if you've never attended one of those, whether you're just a neighbor down the street or a business owner, it's always nice to welcome a new business to your community. They've made an investment. It's nice to go by and congratulate them and thank them for what they've invested into your neighborhood or into your city. But also, there's just a lot that the chamber does that don't have anything to do with attending an event. But you can still do those things virtually, and then we are also always working on advocacy and making sure that the business environment is good for everyone, whether you're a member of the organization or not.
Well, you're exactly right. I'm just sitting here thinking one of my favorite things about the monthly coffees is that every time I go, there's always a group of people who are there that I don't know and
Yes.
who I'm seeing for the first time. And so just again, no matter how new you are to the community or how long you've been in the community, you're almost guaranteed to meet somebody for the first time and establish a relationship and connection. But to your point, Kara, because I think it's a really good one, the chamber is not just about having events that people feel like they need to attend. It's also about advocacy. I know that
Yes.
that the chamber has been very invested in advocacy programs, whether it be at the state level or here locally, constantly polling its membership and keeping its pulse on what the business community is wanting, and from an advocacy standpoint. And so that's really another important factor, and another reason why you might want to be a member of the chamber is that you really get the sort of the strength of the organization that exists with the Economic Alliance, or the Maury County Chamber and Economic Alliance. We'll get it right at some point. Real quick before we move on, just so people who may not know, of course, y'all work very collaboratively. Spring Hill has a chamber. And because of that, we work with them. And because Spring Hill is in Maury and Williamson counties, we're oftentimes partnering with Williamson Inc., which is basically the organization that exists in Williamson County, similar to the Maury Alliance. Obviously, the chamber does work here in Columbia and also in Mount Pleasant and everywhere in between. But talk about a little bit about the structure of the organization and how wide and far it reaches here at home.
Yeah, and so really, chambers of commerce don't work within county lines anymore. A partner is a partner, and it can be a partner across the country, or it could be a partner in a neighboring county. But we are very fortunate in Maury County. So in Maury County, we have 3 chambers. We have the Mount Pleasant Chamber, and we have the Spring Hill Chamber, and we have the Maury County Chamber and Economic Alliance. And we all partner together as often as possible and as often as it makes sense. We partner on events, we partner on advocacy work, we partner on, surveys and providing information and gathering people together, and just anything that we're doing collectively for what I call community engagement and community improvement. We work very much collaboratively together. And it just sort of depends what fits with your business and where it makes sense for you to be a member of the chamber. And we have members that are members of all 3. So, it's not limited to just one place or another. And just know that we partner not just within our county, but also with other counties. So we partner regionally when it comes to chambers of commerce, as well as the state. So we're also a member of the Tennessee Chamber of Commerce. So we're all continuously partnering together to see how we can all better work for the betterment of our region or our county or our community. And one of those things, a couple of really good examples happened during our COVID-19 pandemic when we were all staying at home. So one of the first things that Chamber of Commerce professionals did was we got together via Zoom and we started talking. Okay, what are you doing? What are you seeing the needs in your community today? You know, yesterday is totally different than today. What are you seeing as the primary needs of your members and just your business community as a whole? And that's when we started just, you know, really hitting the pavement and trying to work together to say, okay, hey, we're going to offer this, share that with your members and your community. We're going to offer this and, you know, share that. And we would get together and collaborate. And there's a Facebook group, there's been Zoom webinars, there's been Zoom meetings. And so I think you'll find that Chamber of Commerce professionals across the country, they just want to work together and how can we be mutually beneficial to everyone involved, whether you're a member, whether you're not a member, or whether you know, one side of the county or the other side of the county or even across a county line. So I think that's one of the best ways to do business because we all can work smarter together than we can apart.
Golly, I mean, you've just mentioned so many things that I wish we had time to dig into individually because you're exactly right. I mean, you know, I mentioned our partnership with Spring Hill Chamber and by extension Williamson Inc., but you know, to your point, we partner with chambers all across the Southern Middle Tennessee region, frankly. And like you say, we're stronger when we're united. And especially I like about the Maury Alliance, this sort of approach that, you know, what's good for Spring Hill is good for Mount Pleasant and is good for Columbia and everywhere in between. But it's actually even broader than that in a lot of cases. And, you know, what's good for Lawrence County to the south of us is good for us and vice versa. And I think that's the kind of teamwork and approach that really the Maury Alliance has sort of been the leader in driving that approach over the last couple of years that I think has positioned the organization for success and seeing a lot of the success stories that we have both on the chamber side and also on the economic development side for sure. Since you brought up COVID and the virtual meetings, and of course, you know, today is a virtual meeting as a result of COVID, we are seeing some best practices that have come up during that time that are continuing even post-COVID. And, you know, one of the things that I liked best about the Maury Alliance during sort of peak quarantine was that the Alliance sort of adapted very quickly and they were nimble and they were swift and you know, y'all did, you know, you closed down, but you weren't closed. You still remained very much available. And I think Will Evans and I probably spoke more regularly during that time than we ever have before. Again, just sort of recognizing that, you know, this wasn't a situation where we could all just unplug and just rest on our laurels, but that we needed to continue to work so that we could, you know, support during, but also be well positioned after. But one of the things the Maury Alliance oversaw was the Stabilization Fund for small businesses in Maury County, which I think was just a huge example of leadership at the top. And I walk into people on a daily basis that are still saying thank you for what the Maury Alliance did. Talk about that briefly, if you would, what that did and how many people that ended up helping.
Yeah, it simply started between a conversation between Will and General Motors of Spring Hill. You know, General Motors, you know, brought up and said, hey, we want to do something. And we said, you know, hey, we want to do something. So, you know, again, a partnership formed, it grew, and it helped a lot of people. So I do want to do a shout out to all of the contributors. So it was General Motors of Spring Hill, Columbia Power and Water Systems, Murray Hills Church, Pioneer Dock Equipment, Davis Brothers Roofing, Chick-fil-A, a little something special, Speech and Language Learning Center, and Covenant Technology. So, I mean, and you can visit our website, supportmurray.com, and read a lot of details about it. But essentially, that particular grant partnership ended up raising $126,000 and assisted 123 Maury County businesses and all over the county, not just chamber members, but just you know, small businesses in Maury County to help them through their recovery and through their reopening. And I was able to speak with some of those recipients one-on-one individually myself, and just the gratitude that was there. And I think it's a testament not only to the type of partnerships that we have in our community, but just the type of community that Maury County is, in that we're here to help our neighbors, and that we're here, when it gets tough, we're going to help each other out, and we're going to do. Bottom line is, we're going to do what the community needs today and at the moment, to make everything, as harmless and as less painful as possible.
Well, and you made a great point, Kara. I mean, honestly, the fact that the Alliance has so much respect within the business community as it is really the reason that General Motors reached out to the Alliance to see if it would be a partner. And then what Will and his team, was able to put together. And then the next thing you know, we were helping over 100 businesses who were receiving grants that, were in some cases up to $2,500, which, again, was a lot of money. It still is a lot of money, but particularly in a time where we're in a state of sort of quarantine and shutdown. And so I think the Alliance's position in the community was a testament to sort of how that began and going forward. Another example of why it's such an important part of this community. In addition to that, the organization was also been very involved in sort of the reopening of the business community. As we know, there was a shutdown period of time during the stay-at-home order by the governor. And then the Tennessee pledge began that sort of started the process of reopening. Talk a little bit about how the organization created its own sort of local recovery task force going forward and what it's doing to support those efforts.
Yeah. So, I mean, obvious, if you've just turned the news or turned on social media, that, there were lots of folks struggling, lots of business struggling, lots of community struggling, and not everybody had the answer. So the reason that you have to come together and form those partnerships is because you need expertise from every different perspective that you can get. So it was really wonderful. And the recovery task force for Maury County continues. It's still in existence. So it included the city and the county mayors. So you were part of that, and thank you very much. The Maury Regional Medical Center CEO, Alan Watson, our executive team, so our directors and officers for the Maury County Chamber, the Spring Hill Chamber executive director. And what happened is that the most feedback that we got from an early survey that we did with our membership and with the business community was there was some confusion. There was always confusion about, well, did the governor say this or didn't they say that? So, one of the things that we could do in addition to just funding through that grant program was making sure that they were getting accurate information and finding the resources that they need from a reliable source. So we were able to do our new, develop our new website, supportmaury.com. We were able to take information that we were gathering from the CDC as well as the governor's office and make sure that we sort of compiled all of that information in an easy to read, user-friendly way, put it all in one place so that if you had a resource or a need, you could quickly go and find what you needed. So whether, and it could have been health related, it could have been SBA loans related, it could have been, road to recovery, how do I open, what do I do? So I got lots of phone calls during that stay at home about, where do I find this? Where do I find thermometers? Where do I find masks? So, just making sure that we brought together the experts, looked at every aspect of recovery and how could we make sure that the information that was needed was getting out there and getting out there correctly.
Well, you're right. I mean, basically what we were having during sort of that peak moment was there was so much information. We didn't know who we could listen to. There's confusion at best. And so really what I liked about what this task force did and continues to do is sort of create a little bit of a synthesization of all the information to where we're sort of seeing it all come from one source and help gain some clarity during a period of uncertainty and confusion. And so that was a really integral part. And again, just another example of what your organization did through a process that, it didn't rest on its laurels. It didn't just close up and go home. It continued to work on a daily basis to help the business community, which in turn helps the community as a whole. As we start to close this town hall, Kara, I can't not ask the question about two of what I believe are the most important components of the programming at the Alliance. That is Youth Leadership Maury and Leadership Maury. And I bring up Youth Leadership Maury because I am a proud graduate of both the Youth Leadership Maury and Leadership Maury classes. And so we can't forget our youth class. But I know that those were impacted in part. But going forward, what's the plan for those two classes? And if somebody is sitting at home, going to be a high school junior and eligible for Youth Leadership Maury, or interested in the Leadership Maury class, which is open to anyone of all ages, how might they go about learning more about those two important classes?
So probably the easiest thing to do is to go to our website, which is mauryalliance.com, and there is a tab for leadership programs. So you can learn about the flagship adult program, and you can also learn about the youth program. The Leadership Maury program, which is our flagship adult program, is completing its 32nd class. And yes, it did impact us this year. We were not able to meet for 3 of our meetings. We're doing a makeup tomorrow, actually. And we are open for applications right now, and that deadline is July the 17th. But essentially, it is a community leadership development program. You will learn more about Maury County and all of those economic community factors like education and agriculture and tourism, and just all of those huge community issues that you think you may know a lot about. But until you go through the program, you have no idea what all is so wonderful about our community. I know when I got through with the program, not only was I more proud of where I lived, but I also had a better sense of how can I make a difference, and how can I get in there, and where can I work, that, where can I take my passion and make sure that I'm helping move my community in the right direction. So it's just one of the best experiences I've ever done. The application and the brochure is on our website. The youth class, again, very similar, except it's a shorter period. Right now, we will take applications generally at the end of the year around December. And your guidance counselors in your high schools, all your county high schools and your private schools will know about that information as it comes. Right now, we're proceeding as usual. We usually have a class of around 36 individuals. We know that there may be some adjustments that have to be made. We may have to reduce the number of the class. We may have to do some different accommodations and transportation type things, but I think it's going to be as almost as normal as possible. And again, it'll be one of the best experiences you've ever done. You have fun, you make a wonderful network group of friends and people in your community. You learn so much, and you eat really well.
The eat really well part being very important. And I know you've also said this in the past, Kara, but both you and me, we're born and raised in Columbia, in Maury County. And, the beautiful part about the Leadership Maury class is that, it's very diverse. It has people who have lived here their whole lives. It has people who have lived here within the last 6 months, have just moved here. But in addition, I walked away from that class thinking I knew a lot about Maury County,
Yes.
about its people, about its industries, about all the things. And I ended up leaving knowing far more than I ever imagined I would. And so to those people who are sitting at home wondering, why in the world would I want to do something because I already know everything there's to know about Maury County, I can promise you, and I know you can too, that there's a lot you're going to learn. And there's some important relationships that I know that I made during my year at Leadership Maury that I continue to count on and value even today. So July 17th is the deadline for Leadership Maury. Go to mauryalliance.com to apply or learn more if you're interested. And in closing, I see on our screen we have the Maury Alliance headquarters in the backdrop. Is the Maury Alliance now open for business? And tell a little bit about your hours and where you're located.
We are open for business. We're here to help, newcomers. If you're new to the area, stop by and see us. If you're opening a new business, or if you've just been here a long time and want to come by, we are open. So we are at 106 West 6th Street. So we are across from the city parking lot and City Hall, and directly behind Regions Bank. So we're very, very easy to find. For those of you who've been around a long time, we're in the old Maury County Farm Bureau building. So you can see a picture of our building up there on the left. Also, we are here from 8 to 5, Monday through Thursday, and 8 to 4:30 on Friday. And our phone number is 931-388-2155. If you go to our website, all of our emails are listed. Feel free to contact us either in person, by phone, or via email, and we'll be happy to help any way we can.
Well, Kara, thank you so much. Thank you for what you do as the Director of Chamber of Commerce, and thanks to your organization. whether it be recruiting hundreds of jobs and hundreds of $1 million of capital investment, to providing a monthly coffee on the chamber side. The Maury Alliance is an organization that is very diverse in what it provides to this community, but there's no question the value is significant. And so please tell everybody at the Maury Alliance how much we appreciate them. And certainly, Kara, we do appreciate you. So
thank you, Mayor. I appreciate you as well. And it just wouldn't happen without the wonderful partnership. So, that's what I want people to be proud of in their community, is that how many people work together to make it all the place that it is, which is absolutely incredible.
Well, you're exactly right. With that, we'll let you have the last word. Kara, thanks for joining us. Everybody, thank you for tuning in on Virtual Town Hall number 13. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.